The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 8 News Now or Nexstar Media Group.
We're not setting kids up with the kind of career opportunities, high-wage jobs, or post-secondary or college or military opportunities that they need.
Tonight on Politics Now, a sit-down with the Super. The state's new education leader talks about his goals for K-12 schools. Plus, tougher sentences. A look at Nevada's new law against deadly drunk drivers. And moving forward, progress on developing the old Grant Sawyer building site near downtown, what the city has in mind.
You're watching Politics Now with John Langler on 8 News Now.
Thank you very much for joining us. The name might sound familiar. Dr. Victor Wakefield. He was one of 3 finalists for the Clark County School Superintendent job. He didn't get it, but instead he's now the state's new Superintendent of Public Instruction. This week he spoke with education reporter Joshua Peguero about his first month on the job.
Before the pandemic in Nevada, kids had higher test scores, especially in CCSD. What do you think you can do to improve that outcome, continue improving that outcome year over year?
I appreciate your framing because I see it in 2 ways. First is we are making progress, so I want to celebrate that. But I also believe we need to hold an absolute bar of excellence, and we have room to grow. So in terms of progress, the good news is the most recent round of state tests, the recent round of graduation rates all showed upticks. So for elementary school English language arts, for example, we are nearly back to the 50% level, which is about 50% of our students are at or above grade level, according to state standards. And then in math, we're about 45% as a state, which is almost back to where we were pre-pandemic. And then in graduation rates, we had a big jump from about 81% to 85%, which is a testament to the hard work of educators and leaders. But when I really zoom back a little bit more, and I think you were getting at this, I think we have to hold an even higher bar. One of the data points that really sits with me is we have a high number of disconnected youth in our state. So these are 16 to 24-year-olds that are neither in school nor employed. I think in Clark it was almost 70,000 students. And so to me that is a sign that our system isn't yet delivering. We're not setting kids up with the kind of career opportunities, high-wage jobs, or post-secondary or college or military opportunities that they need. And so for me, I am hyper fixated on that issue, so that way as we make progress, and we should celebrate it, we shouldn't sort of rest on our laurels. We are far from where we need to be, and that's part of what I want to do as a department, is to help set that bar of excellence and then support our districts and schools to reach it.
So these are 70,000 youths who aren't participating in the school system, like don't have a diploma, and they're not enrolled in anything?
So that data point is 16 to 24-year-olds that are neither in school nor employed. Some could actually have a diploma but not be employed, which is an even more important thing for us to ask. Are we setting up young people with the career interest or the infield credentials that they need in order to access jobs?
Now, one of the things we hear constantly is charter schools, the growth of charter schools in the state of Nevada, especially here in southern Nevada. I think the last data point was that Nevada charter schools as a system are the second largest, overtaking Washoe County. You hear from some of the parents and stakeholders and advocates that the state is not doing enough, even though Lieutenant Governor Joe Lombardo is a big supporter, proponent of charter schools. But what do you think can be done to support the growth of this, obviously, choice school? Like, parents are choosing to enroll their kids in charter schools.
Yeah, so I was deep in the education work here for about a decade, from about 2010 to 2020. And those numbers you mentioned are incredible growth compared to where the charter school sector was just a decade ago. So it's not only now the second largest, but it really has seen rapid increases in growth, which I think speaks to parent interest and demand. At the Nevada Department of Education, we care about high quality public schools. We have to support all of our schools, traditional district, public charter schools, and so we want to make sure that's very clear, that charter schools are public schools and they're part of our responsibility at NDE. I think, Number one, I think it's really important that we hold all schools to a high bar, and charters in particular. There's sort of a bargain that's struck where for more autonomy or for the ability to make a specialized program, there's accountability for charter schools. So if they aren't delivering against their plan, they may not be able to continue to exist. I avoid making sort of apples to apples comparisons between charter schools and painting with broad brushstrokes, because you have to really control for student demographics or for enrollment patterns or choices that families are making, right? But I think the data speaks for itself. They are high demand, they are growing. There is, more infrastructure to support high quality charter schools through nonprofits, through the Charter School Authority that sponsors them. And there's even more cities and municipalities that have been interested in supporting charter schools. And so that's a new policy change for the state.
Is there anything that you're going to be advocating for or pushing for? Anything you're sort of working on now at the moment?
Oh, so many things. I'm going to do it in a really systematic way. So I have a listening and bright spots tour that I'm doing over the next 3 months to be across the state to get perspective from Clark and Washoe, but also from other districts and rural context and small districts. And so I'm going to be systematically rolling up themes and trends, making sure that I understand the context, and then making sure we have a clear strategy. One thing that is obvious to me is we need more students that have access to high quality pre-K. When you look at the rates compared to the average across the country, we're more than double digits behind coverage. And so there's also more demand from families than we have supply for. So high quality pre-K to me is a slam dunk issue that everybody agrees on. We just need to prioritize it financially.
Dr. Wakefield also thinks CCSD is in very good hands, of course, with his predecessor. Former State Superintendent Joan Ebert now leads the district. Well, coming soon to Nevada law, stiffer penalties for deadly drunk drivers. Lawmakers, as you know, passed Governor Joe Lombardo's wide-ranging crime bill in last month's legislative session. But is it enough? 8 News Now reporter Jessamine Wolk spoke with a woman whose life was changed by an intoxicated driver.
I've taken all the responsible steps to be safe, and out of nowhere, comes someone who's under the influence and basically ends up destroying your family.
It's a day Sandy Heverly will never forget. Her family was driving to Disneyland when a drunk driver hit them. She and her kids facing serious injuries. Her mother killed.
There's no coming back. There's no do-overs.
After the life-altering crash, she started Stop DUI to advocate for families like hers. Her reaction to the upcoming penalty changes:
Oh, it's a step forward, without a doubt.
Right now, a DUI driver who kills can be sentenced to anywhere from 2 to 20 years. But Nevada laws requires judges sentence in ranges, where a felon is eligible for parole after serving 40%. So the highest range is 8 to 20. The new law that goes into effect in January increases that maximum to 25 years. The most amount of time a DUI driver who kills could spend in prison before seeing the parole board becomes a decade.
In your 4 decades of advocating, do you feel like that is enough?
No, actually.
Heverly's ideal turnout changed the current vehicular homicide law, removing a requirement a driver already has 3 DUIs. A proposal to do that last legislative session failed. She says she wants to see the penalty rise to 25 years to life.
But we're grateful for what the governor did, and it gives us something.
Traffic Lieutenant Brett Ficklin with Metro Police says DUI cases continue to climb, and it only gets worse during the holiday season.
In times where people are having Christmas, Thanksgiving get-togethers, even New Year's get-togethers. And that tends to be, for us, the deadliest part of the year.
In the last 7 years on the job, Ficklin has seen the avoidable tragedy more times than he can count. His message to drivers:
too many people experience that, and we want to make sure that we don't have any more people experiencing that.
And that was Jessamine Wolk reporting. Meanwhile, another candidate has entered the race for Henderson mayor. This week, Adam Price announced he's running for that position. He's currently the chairman of the Henderson Democratic Club, although the mayor's office is a nonpartisan position. Price hopes to unseat that woman there. That's current Mayor Michelle Romero. Former Henderson Police Chief Holly Chadwick is also running for mayor. Earlier this year, she was fired by the city manager. Another crowded race is the contest for Clark County Commission District F. This week, Mindy Lloyd announced her candidacy. She runs the Injured Police Officer Fund. Her late husband, Eric, was a nearly 30-year veteran of Metro Police. He died from complications of coronavirus. Lloyd is a Republican. She joins fellow GOP candidates Heidi Kasama and Albert Mack, Democrat Minja Yan, and nonpartisan candidate Becky Harris. Lloyd was previously running for Clark County Public Administrator. It has been an active week for the Culinary Union. Friday, it started a small strike near Reed Airport. Earlier this week, 24 workers were arrested for blocking a major valley road on the way to the airport. The union is in a contract battle right now with food and retail contractors at the airport. 8 News Now reporter James Schaefer recaps this week's street standoff.
Leading out of the airport, University Center Drive was set to be blocked by protesters, a choreographed event. Police set to arrest members like Adrian Cosby.
Our healthcare and pension funds are at risk of being lost if we don't get this contract negotiated.
We all know what's happened here in Las Vegas. It's hard to make a living now.
Culinary Union Secretary Treasurer Ted Papa George said discussions broke down with 10 retail and food businesses inside Harry Reid International Airport when owners asked for a 40% reduction compared to average pay. The union asking for wages to increase after a 4-year wait. Then all northbound traffic came to a halt. All drivers confused, but some supportive.
It's annoying, but it's Vegas. There's always traffic. I'm more pro-union than I am anti-traffic.
That's fine. That's okay. Freedom of speech, I support it.
Others frustrated on their way home or to concerts.
We're annoying that we're being sought because there's people have opinions. And I mean, them protesting is just going to make it worse. It's not for result.
They have the right to protest, but not to interfere with the traffic.
Is this frustrating for you?
It is. It is.
Traffic then released as union members were detained.
So hopefully this sends a message to these employers, but they got to do the right thing.
Now, this isn't the only discussion that the Culinary Union is working on. Currently, they're also in talks with the Sphere, although Ted Papa George says he doesn't think that one's going to result in a shutting down of the major Las Vegas road, saying they had been much more successful. Reporting from Tropicana University Center Drive, James Schaefer, 8 News Now.
Should point out the negotiations are not directly with Reed Airport. The union is working on a deal with separate businesses, those retail and restaurants we talked about, and those businesses have not returned our calls. Next on Politics Now, revitalization. New details on plans to turn an old state building into hundreds of homes. And helping the homeless. A look inside a $200 million facility designed to boost assistance. On Politics Now.
Welcome back to Politics Now.
Well, this week, another step towards redeveloping the site of the old Grant Sawyer State Government Building. Next week, the Las Vegas Planning Commission will discuss those plans. You'll remember state offices abandoned the Grant Sawyer site several years ago. It was a constant source of HVAC and mold issues. The 23-acre site right next to Cashman Center and the old Mormon Fort just north of downtown. Well, now Lennar Homes wants to build a new housing project there with 290 units. It's entering a redevelopment agreement with the city.
It's going to eliminate a lot of societal challenges that we have in that part of town. And if we extend that over to Grant Sawyer, that's more housing, more retail, more of everything that we need down there.
Right now, that land is still owned by the state. A general plan was approved by the city last month. It's called the Campus for Hope. Homeless advocates say it's a $200 million facility that will help guide the valley's less fortunate to a better future. This week, 8 News Now reporter Nick Summer got a closer look at what the complex is offering.
Leaders say this investment is critical because of the financial cost of homelessness here in Clark County that's already massive. A city commission study found the average annual cost per homeless individual is nearly $32,000.
There's a huge need in this community just generally for something that's different. So something that gives people the time and the space to really transform their lives.
Kim Jeffries is the CEO of Campus for Hope and wants the community to understand the importance of this project. And that is why the Experience Center was created.
At this campus, they'll have the place to sleep. They'll have the meals provided. They'll have the clothes they need. So it really gives them a moment to just breathe and exhale and say, okay, what do I want to do with my life?
The College of Southern Nevada is partnering with Campus for Hope to bring workforce development, career training, and educational pathways directly onto the campus, something Jeffrey says is critical for long-term stability.
They can help us lift those clients up and get some real-world experience at the same time.
They feel forgotten. They feel lost. They feel like they're hidden among the shadows of Southern Nevada.
Dr. James McCoy, Executive Vice President for the College of Southern Nevada, says CSN is committed to being an active part of the community surrounding the campus and sees an opportunity to lift the region as a whole.
That mission alignment is aligned to prosperity. We think about the connectivity to one's future. How can we do that? Is through wraparound community support services.
And that was Nick Summer reporting. The Experience Center is open during construction, and that campus, the Campus for Hope, should open in 2028. The Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada says it's filing more than 20 complaints against Clark County School District on behalf of special education students. Legal Aid says the district is not properly teaching foster care students with dyslexia, and that's leaving many in a situation where they can't read. In one example cited, an 11th grader who cannot spell words like hot or pet and is getting no direct reading instruction. Legal Aid Center points to a similar lawsuit CCSD recently lost, saying it violated state law by not helping students with dyslexia.
CCSD has had less than a 50% graduation rate for children in foster care. We're really the only ones in town who work for these kids in care. So if we don't do it, no one else will, and they deserve it.
Clark County School District says it does not comment on pending litigation. Next here, benefits threatened. A discussion with Nevada Congresswoman Susie Lee about Affordable Care Act tax credits. Plus, food benefit future, a new challenge to the SNAP program from the Trump administration. Politics Now is back after this.
You're watching Politics Now.
In Washington, a potential deal to extend Affordable Care Act tax credits is still out of reach. Meanwhile, though, Americans are signing up for insurance right now, not knowing exactly how much it'll cost. This week, 8 News Now investigator David Charnes spoke with Nevada Democratic Congresswoman Susie Lee.
Where does it stand right now in extending those tax credits?
I feel like keep it simple. Let's do a 2-year extension. Let's maybe address some of the issues that are holding up Republicans from coming to the table. And then in these next 2 years, even do 1 year, we'll do this set of reforms, and in year 2, we'll do the next set and see if we can come to an agreement. But basically, time is running out. People are going to see these types of crazy increases in their health insurance. Let's do a stopgap measure. And come to the negotiating table and work on a longer term plan.
Why do you think your Republican colleagues don't want to extend the tax credits? What's the benefit to them?
Well, listen, I was elected in 2018, and before I was elected, Republicans in Congress and President Trump 70 times tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act. I do think there is a basic dislike for the ACA. And these tax credits are essential to making healthcare affordable for people who don't have insurance through their employers, for small business owners. It's, and so it's like a key piece of the whole insurance puzzle. And by the way, when people get priced out, and this is a very personal issue to me. My father and mother, my dad lost his job when he was 58 years old. I was a sophomore in college. They had high blood pressure. This was before the Affordable Care Act. They were literally priced out of health insurance, and they made the decision that they were going to risk it until they qualified for Medicare. Well, a month before my mom qualified for Medicare, she had a major heart attack, and the bill she received from the hospital was essentially equivalent to the value of her home.
One of the challenges there, heard from Congresswoman Lee. Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune, meanwhile, promised a group of moderate Democrats a vote on the tax credits by mid-December, and in exchange, he got their votes to reopen the government. That's what ended the shutdown. It's not clear, though, when that vote might happen. Republican House Speaker Michael Johnson calls the ACA tax credit a handout to rich insurance companies. President Donald Trump is pushing a plan to create individual health care savings accounts. Also in Washington, another challenge to SNAP benefits. This week, the Trump administration announced a plan to withhold money tied to food stamps in states run by Democrats. It's a threat designed to get those states to release information on SNAP recipients. The White House is focused on getting immigration status details from those applications. A USDA spokesperson says administrative funds could be withheld. Actual benefits will still get dispersed.
In February of this year, we asked for all the states for the first time to turn over their data to the federal government to let the USDA partner with them to root out this fraud, to make sure that those who really need food stamps are getting them, but also to ensure that the American taxpayer is protected.
We asked Governor Joe Lombardo's office if Nevada is on that list, and so far we have not heard back. State Senator Rochelle Nguyen has a new day job. She's now the CEO of the Candlelighters Childhood Cancer Foundation. The nonprofit's been here in the Valley 45 years. It provides emotional and financial supports to children diagnosed with cancer and their families. Nguyen previously served on the board of HopeLink. Next year on Politics Now, representing the Silver State, a Christmas tree from here in Nevada takes its place at the U.S. Capitol, the special guest who flipped the switch.
Welcome back to Politics Now.
In Washington, D.C., the official Christmas tree now decorated and lit. And for the first time, the tree comes from right here in Nevada. This week, lawmakers hosted the official lighting ceremony. The tree you see there is named Silver Bell. It was harvested from the Humboldt-Toyabe National Forest near Reno. The event was hosted by House Speaker Mike Johnson and attended by Nevada's congressional delegation. But it was 9-year-old Grady Armstrong who stole the show. The Virginia City youngster got to flip the switch.
The country to know how special Nevada's public land and national forests are. These lands are full of wonder, from big animals like elk, mule deer, bighorn sheep, and even moose, to smaller animals like fish, lizards, and birds.
Way to go, Grady. That'll do it for us this week here on Politics Now. We'll see you next week. Take care.